Welcome to the Israel Daily News Podcast. I'm your host, Shanna Fold, and I'm here to get you caught up quickly. I've got some top news stories for you today from Israel, and guess what? You're listening, so you're already on top of your game. Survive and thrive, people. Knowledge is the best weapon. Today is Monday, March 24th, 2025 in the Gregorian calendar, and the 24th of Adar, 5785 in the Hebrew calendar. Now, let's get to the news. An 85-year-old man from Kibbutz Ha-Zorea was murdered today, so that's Monday, in a terror ramming and shooting. The suspect, an Arab Israeli from Wadi Ara, attempted to run over civilians at a bus stop, then exited his vehicle and stabbed a 20-year-old Israeli soldier. He then stole the soldier's rifle and opened fire on nearby vehicles. Later identified as 26-year-old Karam Jabarin, Israeli security agencies are investigating whether he had ties to ISIS or other extremist culture groups. He was then shot dead at the scene by border police. The 20-year-old soldier was aided at the scene before being transported to Rambam Hospital in Haifa. The 85-year-old who was killed was later identified as Moshe Horn. We here at the Israel Daily News send our heartfelt condolences to the family, friends, and community of this man who finished his life in such a violent way. Let's get a little into foreign affairs. The White House has reportedly given an ultimatum to Egypt: accept between 500,000 and 700,000 Palestinians from Gaza or face cuts to American aid. This report comes from Israel Hayom, which is an Israeli newspaper, and they cited a Qatari news outlet. The report comes as Israel continues to advance its plans for voluntary relocation of Gazan residents to third-party countries, following the recent approval by Israel's security cabinet to establish an administration for this purpose. Egypt has consistently shared opposition to any plan involving the resettlement of Gazan Palestinians on its territory, particularly in the Sinai Peninsula, which is very close to Israel, very close to Gaza, very big, and has a lot of open space. Egyptians say it's an issue of sovereignty and potential long-term implications for the Palestinian cause. Now, I'm going to give you my thoughts based on my understanding, my research. Egypt made huge efforts and campaigns to eradicate terrorism from the Sinai and other parts of mainland Egypt. And I personally think they don't want Palestinians there because they are afraid that Hamas will enter the Strip undetected and create terror on their turf, which the Egyptians don't want to deal with because they already dealt with that within the last 10 to 12 years, particularly with ISIS, and they don't want to do that again. Israeli sources have confirmed the existence of a new Egyptian proposal for a hostage deal, though there are still big gaps remaining. The proposal reportedly includes the release of 5 hostages, including Idan Alexander, who is set to come out in a hostage deal which then fell through because the ceasefire stopped. Another part is a new 7-week ceasefire, the release of hundreds of Palestinian prisoners, and the return of humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip in large volumes. A senior Hamas official has claimed that the group has, quote, responded positively to the proposal. I want to thank our partners at BNN or Bernie News Network for this update. Head over to bernie.news for WhatsApp and Telegram updates. In a historic and controversial move, Israel's cabinet unanimously passed a no-confidence vote against Attorney General Gali Baharav-Miara, signaling its intent to remove her from office. Justice Minister Yariv Levin led the charge, citing long-time disagreements that he claims hinder cooperation, while Baharav-Miara argues the government is just trying to eliminate legal oversight and act without any stops or constraints. Prime Minister Netanyahu was absent from the vote since he has a conflict of interest because, newsflash, Baharav-Miara is involved in his ongoing corruption trial. The opposition fiercely criticized the motion, calling it corrupt and unlawful, and thousands of Israelis have taken to the streets in protest. Legal experts note the dismissal process is far from complete, as the required evaluation committee has yet to be fully formed, and the Attorney General insists the cabinet's vote has no legal standing. U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East Steve Witkoff said in an interview on Sunday that Hamas may have duped him, thinking Hamas had agreed to his bridge proposal to extend the ceasefire in Gaza only for it to blow back. If the agreement had been reached, the ceasefire would have been extended until April 19th and had Hamas release 5 living hostages in exchange for a large number of Palestinian security prisoners. Hamas insisted on sticking to the original terms of the deal, which was supposed to begin its second phase in early March. However, Israel refused to enter talks regarding the specific terms of Phase 2, as it disagrees with the request to fully withdraw from Gaza and permanently end the war. However, Israel refused to enter talks regarding the specific terms of Phase 2, as it disagrees with the request to fully withdraw from Gaza and permanently end the war. 4 days after Hamas offered to release Idan Alexander, the last living American hostage, the ceasefire collapsed and fighting resumed. He did not come home. I want to thank all of you for your interest in Israeli affairs, Israeli politics, or world politics. I also want to thank all of you who personally finance and fund the Israel Daily News podcast with monthly contributions. You can support us with contributions by going over to our website, israeldailynews.org, and clicking on donate. The Patreon link is over there, and you can also send a monthly donation using that link. There is an option for a one-time donation on that page as well. Our organization is operational thanks to listeners and supporters like you. Thank you to Marianne Vollinger for her monthly support. In response, I will send a handwritten note to show my appreciation. A survey of high school teens in religious Zionist schools here in Israel found that many engage in sexual activity and are more likely than co-ed peers to have a relationship with a member of the same sex. Though most respondents to the poll say they observe Orthodox tradition, where physical contact between the sexes is forbidden, more than 2/3 admitted to engaging in physical contact and being in a romantic relationship with the opposite sex, though only 1/4 of respondents said that they had experienced intimate contact with someone from the opposite gender, meaning many young people in same-sex schools are just experimenting with one another. High numbers of both females and males reported spending time on themselves and watching adult films online. Many of these issues were not supposed to be addressed until the 12th grade. The survey conducted by the University of Haifa highlights the need to talk about sexuality at an earlier age within Orthodox communities. All right. Well, that is it for today's show. Today is Monday, March 24th, 2025. Tel Aviv has a low of 13 degrees Celsius and a high of 20 degrees. That's 56 degrees Fahrenheit for the low, going up to 68 degrees for the high. We are everywhere. Don't forget to sign up to our Israel Weekly News Wrap. The Israel Weekly News Wrap is a newsletter with the top 5 stories coming out of Israel from throughout the week. And of course, with a personal note from me at the top, you can sign up for that at israeldailynews.org. Thank you to our writer, Perry Schwartz, Lori for social media, as well as Ishai Shapir in New York, Ari Gottesman here in Tel Aviv, Raphael Wind and Asher Parks for our technical developments and video production help. Thank you so much. I'm going to send you off today with a song called Aneni Na by Kunda and Laor, a cousin duo based out of Jerusalem. Enjoy this song, have a great and productive day, and an excellent week. Shavua Tov, everyone.
Pumping this love from לב העולם, ביט א' ב' ביט ביט בפנן. Deep inside the land of Zion, it's a dance designed to move everyone. So yalla kulam, put your worries aside. This beat is a sign, your body decides. Yalla kulam, we won't let them divide. Jerusalem sisters all on the same side.
Whoever you are, truth in you lies. Whoever you are, lose your disguise. Open your eyes, have no fear inside you. Anedi na na ya, anedi na ya, anedi na na ya, ne. Anedi na na ya, anedi na ya, anedi na na ya, ne.
Deep in the dark, nadlik et anel. Shalhevet ya burning, eternal flare. Jerusalem daughter, hands in the air. Jerusalem daughter.